Okay, I want to talk about the new DCU and where it seems to be headed and why it might be a bad move for the new DC franchise because of what I've seen in Superman. Now, the thing is, well, Superman, it was a overall good movie, but the tone of it felt like it was a complete comic book movie in the sense that it was too much of a comic book movie. I mean, it felt a little too comic-y. And while that was great in the comics, and when it comes to a theater experience, I'm not so sure that the vast majority of the audience is gonna love that. And think about it: how much, how many people are gonna be watching this movie? A lot of people, but what do you think the majority of the people who are watching this movie are gonna be? uh, Hardcore comic book fans or casual comic book readers or people who saw the cartoons or just heard that it was a good movie and wanted to come see it just to watch a movie. It's gonna be the second and third, the casual readers and cartoon watchers and the regular moviegoers. And for them, Superman was a bit too much. And from what I'm seeing about the box office, it does seem to be it doesn't seem to be making as money as it should have, considering that it's a Superman movie. I mean, I don't know if the movie's across Man of Steel yet, and if it doesn't do that, then that's a huge problem because Man of Steel came out what 12 years ago, and since then the price for everything has gone up. So, if you think about it, in order to make as much money as Man of Steel, it's gonna have to make more money than Man of Steel because of inflation, all that stuff. And if it fails to cross the budget of Man of Steel, the box office of Man of Steel overall, yeah, this movie might. I don't think you can really call it a success as big as much of a success as you want it to, especially considering that the budget for these movies have gone up. And when you put that much money into a movie, you need to make a lot of returns, and you need a lot of people watching it. The majority of people watching it, well, it's not going to be the hardcore fans. And this Superman movie, it doesn't really seem like it's targeted for everyone. It felt like it was targeted for the fans. I mean, the biggest point is the whole trunks thing. The Superman wearing the trunks. Now, in Man of Steel, Superman didn't wear the trunks. And it was understandable why they decided to leave that out. I mean, wearing trunks over a suit, while it was okay in the comics, in real life, it doesn't really visually look right to be wearing trunks over your suit. I mean, that's not how we wear clothes. Even though this is a costume and costumes are supposed to be different, but when it's live action, it needs to feel a bit more similar to what we see, to get the attention of the majority of the moviegoers. Now, for the hardcore comic book fans, they want everything to be comic accurate, right down to the smallest detail, like the trunks. But for everyone else, that's not gonna be that appealing. And if you end up making movies just targeting the hardcore audience, you're not gonna be able to get that many people into theaters. You will get a good amount of people into theaters, but still, it's not gonna be enough to run a franchise for a long time and successfully, especially for the lesser known characters in the DC universe. Now, Superman's a well known character, so people were gonna go watch it even if they weren't sure how it was going. But for the lesser known movies that are gonna be coming out, yeah, people are gonna wait and they hear the stuff, they're not gonna be that interested in watching it. That's just the way it is. And it's a fine line. You want it to feel somewhat accurate, but you don't want to overdo it. I felt like Superman overdid it. Whereas Man of Steel underdid it. I mean, that was dark and didn't feel like Superman at all. And this feels like an overcorrection, honestly. And I have to say, Marvel, for all the problems they have these days, in the beginning of the MCU, they did really well. They brought the comic book characters to life and made it in a way that the vast majority of normal people would want to see it. The non-hardcore, the people who aren't hardcore comic fans, they want to see it because they heard it was a good movie, and after they watched it, they were happy with it. And sure, they gradually went up the comical ladder, but still, at no point did we feel like this was being overdone, that it was completely ridiculous. I mean, even Thor Ragnarok was well received, especially considering that people didn't really like the previous two Thor movies. Even though that really leaned into the comic book thing, they did it in a right way. Now, Thor, Love and Thunder, that was a complete disaster, but I think that's more to do with the comedy aspect rather than the visuals and all that. But yeah, Marvel found the right balance, at least during the Infinity Saga. And there's some things that you need to leave out. You can't just have it comic accurately. Like, if you think about Hawkeye, I think Hawkeye wears a mask or something. There's a really sharp looking mask with in the comic books. And that wouldn't really work in the MCU, in the live action at least. And you need to find that balance. And I feel like Superman didn't find that balance. It was overdone. And there are other details you could look at it in the movie. What happened? I mean, what else? Like Guy Gardner using the power of the lanterns. I mean, he used the ring to make some stuff to poke the monster and all that. Whereas he could have just made a machine gun and fired bullets at it, or create a giant knife to stab it. I mean, that's a little hardcore, but still, he could have done that stuff. And that didn't happen. And then there's the monster that Superman fights in the movie. I mean, the monster looks like something that came out of the Monsters movie. It didn't feel like what a real monster would look like. It felt like something that was plucked out of a cartoon and made 3D and put into a live action movie. Those are the problems. And from the way Superman's performing right now at the box office, DC is running a huge risk of overdoing it or overcorrecting for what happened with the previous DCU and starting the whole cycle all over again, or people just not liking the movies because they're too extreme to one end. And I hope they do a course correction, and I guess we'll have to wait and see when the other movies come out. I mean, Supergirl's coming out. Let's see how that's done. So, yeah.